Now we're challenging you to breathe through your nose for the next 24 hours. Some of you might find that a little bit difficult because your nose tends to get blocked at times. Anyone here tend to suffer from a blocked nose at any time throughout the day? Okay, now I'm very hopeful that in a crowd this size, we're going to have someone who's got a blocked nose or a partly blocked nose at the moment. Can you just put your hand up if you've got a blocked nose or a partly blocked nose at the moment? Oh no. There's nothing worse than doing one of these seminars. One. I'm sure there's others here. Oh, fantastic. Last seminar we had more people here, but we hardly had anyone with a blocked nose. Because we want to show you how to unblock your nose. And there's nothing worse than getting you to do this and no one's got a blocked nose because you won't know whether I'm making it up or whether it really works. So I can see Joanna's got to her feet because she's going to very kindly demonstrate this exercise while I talk her through it. I will just warn you though, it looks rather stupid. So you might want to start laughing at her, but I'm sure she can handle it. But there is method to the madness, and I'll explain exactly why we do what we do after she's done it. So I'll just get you to watch at this stage and I'll talk you through it a little bit later on. What I'd like you to do, please, Joanna, is to have your mouth closed, and then to breathe in through your nose, then out through your nose, then to hold your breath and hold your nose, and then to start nodding your head up and down. Looks a bit strange, so you might want to laugh at her, but I'm sure she can handle it. At the moment, she's comfortable and she doesn't have to breathe. But fairly soon, she wants to breathe, but I don't want her to. I want her to keep holding and holding and holding as long as she can. And when she finally has to breathe, that's okay, but she's got to keep her mouth closed. So I want her to put her finger on her lips to force her to breathe through her nose. What you will find after doing that is that if you had any mucus in your nose, it tends to shift and clear and get reabsorbed. And your nasal passages and your sinuses will begin to open. But if you happen to open your mouth at the end, your nose is likely to block up more than what it was previously. The reason we hold our breath with this exercise is that when you hold your breath, you stop your external respiration, which means there's no exchange of gases between the air and the lungs. But your internal respiration continues. And one of the things that is produced, of course, is carbon dioxide. So because you're holding your breath and you're producing carbon dioxide, the level is rising, which is what we need to do. And the reason for the movement is to increase the blood flow to the affected area. So let's all give it a try. And I'd like all of you to do it. And the reason is that if your nose gets blocked in the next 24 hours, you're going to need to know how to do this, so it's a good idea to have a practice. And also because several of you will probably find things are a bit clearer after you do this when you didn't really think there was a problem before. So we all just start with our mouth closed, and we breathe in through our nose, breathe out through our nose, hold our breath, hold our nose on the out breath, and then just start gently nodding our head up and down. At the moment, it feels easy, easy, easy. We're quite comfortable. Fairly soon, some of you are probably going to want to breathe. We'll try to go a bit longer. Really try and force yourself. But when you do have to breathe, finger on your lips. That's the most important thing. Stop yourself from breathing through the mouth. Finger on your lips and force yourself to breathe through your nose. And we shall see what happens. A couple of people still going. Just make sure that mouth stays closed at the end. Okay, just by a show of hands, how many people feel that things are a bit clearer after doing that exercise? Okay, many, that's good. Oh, very good, quite a few. Okay, thanks Joanna. Now I have a very challenging question for you all. Why does our nose get blocked? I'll give you a clue based on what I've been saying today.
Because we've been opening our mouth and holding on.
The main reason our nose blocks is because we breathe too deeply, and the most likely reason for that is because we're breathing through our mouth. Because when we breathe too deeply, and just look at the size of your mouth compared to the size of your nostrils, give you an idea of how much more deeply you breathe. When you breathe more deeply, as we've explained, you start to lose carbon dioxide. Now your body is a very smart system, it always tries to self-correct. So what it does is it produces mucus to restrict the space you can breathe through, to stop you breathing more deeply and losing the carbon dioxide. But the problem is we feel this constriction, this blockage, so naturally we sniff or we blow our nose or we cheat and bypass it and breathe through our mouth. None of those things correct our breathing, they all make it deeper. And that's the reason why after you've blown your nose, quite often a few minutes later you find it's blocked and you've got to do it again. I know it does sound very simplistic, but the main reason the nose blocks is because we overbreathe, and the most likely reason for that is we're doing too much breathing through the mouth. About 3 years ago I did a seminar just like this, and a lady came on behalf of her 6-year-old son who had very severe asthma. And I came back the next day and registered for the course, and when she was doing that she said to me, "Oh, you'd never believe what happened last night." I said, "Well, what happened?" And she said, "I've got another boy who's 10. She said, "He doesn't get asthma, but at the age of 10 he'd already been diagnosed with sleep apnea, and he'd had 2 operations to unblock his sinuses and his nose. And both times within about 6 weeks he was totally blocked up again. And they initially thought that there was the carpets in their house, so they ripped them up and put down polished floorboards. Made no difference, he still had his problems. Then they thought it was something else in the house or the garden, so they sold up and moved to another place. Made no difference. Then they took him to numerous doctors and specialists. He was on a special diet, he was taking supplements. Anyway, I knew exactly what she was going to say. They had to go home after the seminar and do this exercise 4 times, but they got the boy's nose unblocked. She was happy and sad because she estimated she and her husband had spent between $70,000 and $100,000 trying to unblock his nose. 5 minutes of Buteyko and it was unblocked. So yes, it only takes us about 5 minutes to show you how to unblock your nose, but it takes us 5 days to show you how to change your breathing to stop your nose from blocking, and to show you how to change your breathing to stop your snoring and apnea, and to show you how to change your breathing to stop your asthma.